Welcome back everyone to our continuation of Vandal Hearts, starting chapter 2 just after finishing. Let's get back into this. Now remember, this is more mechanically, technically and design focused rather than a standard commentary playthrough. Anyway, let's continue.
Gilbaris Island. Over the centuries, this tiny island in the Gadar Sea has given rise to numerous myths and legends. It is called the Island of Ancient Mysteries and has been the subject of much speculation over the years. It is the island of General Magnus's disappearance, and it is here that Ash and his companions now venture.
Act 2, Island of Madness. So here we have, as usual, another mechanic introduced into this. This one is not so much a win mechanic, but an extra fail mechanic. If you kill all the villagers, it's mission failed. If a villager attacks one of your characters, you will retaliate. They're level 1 and have very low health and no defense. You will kill them instantly. And like Clint said at the start of the level, The blocks can be used to block passages, guide the villagers, basically funnel them around certain directions. All while trying to avoid combat with them, trying to take out the statues, as well as get both hidden items and both treasure chests. So when you look at it from this side, you can see there's no way they can jump up 3 levels of elevation in one go. And also, like I mentioned, what we want to do is we want to try include as much use as possible for any character that's not level 10. Now, as you saw, the statues don't move, but they do have ranged magic. So this will also serve as a test. And in the meantime, what's going to happen, we're going to spend 1 or 2 turns allowing all the villagers to flank us on the other side, giving us time to escape. And we already know that places that have hidden items underground look visually different and completely out of place in the ground textures. So we can see the one in the little Tetris T block there in the center of that. Obviously something hidden in there. The other one is actually 1 block in front of where we have our crate. It's a crater in the ground. So again, we're just going to hang on for a turn or two. The great thing about this level, and the great thing about Eleni, is that at this level she should usually have Spellbind, which essentially binds an enemy character in place. So even if worst comes to worst, you get stuck down to maybe 1 or 2 enemies left, you can bind them, run away. Now I could have moved out maybe 1 or 2 turns earlier and put a block to prevent them from coming directly across the center of the map. Personally, I do this a different way in order to get that chest in there quicker. So we will likely take out 1 or 2 of the villagers at this rate. But that doesn't really matter, we will get slightly penalised in gold at the end of the level. The ultimate objective would be to get both chests, both secret items, kill all the statues and never kill a single villager. So if we were to leave that box there, they wouldn't be able to get up from across the center, which is why we could go in there possibly a little bit earlier. but this will give us a perfect opportunity to demonstrate spellbinding. Until it misses. I actually used to find this level extremely difficult back when I first got here. As you can see, he's hidden in there, so we can't actually get him with the arrows. That's actually a boon when they block. For once. Much better. Now yes, we have seen Paralyze, of course, used in reverse, but now we see what it's used when we get to take advantage of it. More so demonstrating the utility of Spellbind on this level. That is risky. But the key thing is we did get her to level up to 10 regardless. So what we really want to do here is just keep at least one enemy unit alive so we can get this remaining treasure chest and the extra hidden item as well. And then as soon as we get that done, we can take out the final statue. And since I should have this done correctly, I'll be able to kill the final statue with Eleni, and that should boost her up to level 10. That way having everyone at level 10. Yes, it is slightly unfortunate that we did lose a few villagers in the process, but again, nothing major. All we do is lose a bit of gold, and gold is something that's not completely in short supply in this game. Now we learned a new spell with Huxley as well. That one is Cure. Cure is slightly different to Healing. Healing obviously restores health. Cure restores status in the sense of poison, paralysis, etc. There she is, level 10. So that's our secondary objective, if you will, completely achieved. And like I said, we do lose a small bit of gold as a penalty for killing some of the villagers. It is possible to complete that level and kill no villagers and get the maximum amount of gold possible. Now, we get to do something very important, which is visit the tavern. I'm just kidding, we will get to the important thing now in a second. A little bit of an important hint that he was giving us just there. Now, this is our important thing. This is why we were struggling, or striving I should say, for level 10. We want advancement. We're going to get every character and put them through their very first class change. Now, Ash only has the one, because he's the main character, so he goes to champion. There we go. Ash is now the champion. Now for everyone else, it gets a little bit more interesting. We have Clint, a swordsman, or just a regular soldier. He has two class changes. He can go to either the swordsman and that path, or the guardsman and that path. The big difference here is the swordsman he keeps with his sword and his style and everything around it. His mobility, his attack, his defense, the same type of stats are highlighted. So he keeps the mobility, his attack is obviously highlighted, and his defense is still pretty reasonable, as is his mobility. Guardsman, on the other hand, would actually change him to an armoured class. He'd use an axe, his defense and his HP would skyrocket, his attack would be still relatively decent, but his mobility would drop massively. Personally, I like to go with Clint as a swordsman. Now for the archers, it's something similar, but again, something a little bit different. You can put an archer into a bowman. A bowman obviously increases their archer capabilities and their range, their mobility, etc. Everything you'd expect from an archer. Or you can have them go to a hawk knight, which is a completely separate class. This is the flying units. We've seen enemy versions of these before. They're the ones that usually wield a lance of some sort and are very good against soldier-based classes, sword-based classes. And however, they do have a massive downside. They can take massive damage from archers, but they obviously have huge mobility and can traverse places where certain things can't. Lava, water, etc. Now, I like to put Diego as a hawk knight, because this is a class we don't have. And of course, his weapons and armor change as well. The big thing, a lance. Now, she's going to work as a mage class, so she has two options. She can go with a sorcerer. As the name suggests, it's completely magic focused. Defense, HP, all takes a hit. Attack, still completely negligible. But she will gain new spells and new magic attack damage. Or she can go with monk, which kind of slightly boosts her mobility, slightly boosts her attack and defense, and a little bit of HP in her too. And because it mainly focuses on physical attacks, she won't gain as much magical attack and magic spells. Personally, I like to have her going as a sorcerer. And we have Huxley on the other side of the coin. Also a mage class, but a healer. And again, Huxley has the option of monk, just like we have for Eleni. But obviously Huxley will not gain much attack magic, but will gain reduced healing magic and support magic. And we have Bishop. Obviously we're going to go with Bishop. We need a full-blown healer. As you'd expect, Bishop augments the healing prowess and the available support spells. So Kira has the same options because naturally she's an archer as Diego, but because we already have a Hawk Knight, let's go with a bowman. So now we'll have an upgraded bowman, or an upgraded archer into a bowman, and we'll have a Hawk Knight. And it's the same with Grog. Not only do we already have Ash as a champion, a similar role to Clint in his swordsman, we can now have Grog as a guardsman to vary it up a little bit. And that's everyone taken care of. So once we do get to our next part, we will have a perfect opportunity to show off all of our new stuff. And not only that, but the next battle is actually going to be very interesting because it's going to be something completely different. We'll still finish out upgrading everyone and changing everyone's gear, and then we'll move on. Since we don't actually have one, the claw is the weapon of choice for the monk. I did mention that key would come in handy for a little bit of a secret. And that secret is going to be in the next part. So now that we have everyone upgraded and we're good to go for the next part and the next battle, we are going to save it and get going into our next one. Remember, it's going to be something special.